So today I'm going to talk about what it means when you've got high conflict in your marriage. If you fight a lot, you've been conditioned to think it's normal. At least if you're married to a wolf, that's what he wants you to think. You know what? It's not normal. There's a big difference between fights and trials that are a natural part of any healthy marriage, 1 Corinthians 7:28, and the toxic dynamic that stems from coercive control when an abusive man purposely fights with his wife. The thing to remember is that in a social setting outside the house, for the most part, they look like a normal couple. But when the two individuals get behind closed doors, in privacy, that's when the predatory dynamic emerges. Unless you've experienced evil and been healed, you cannot tell from the outside. You think you can tell the difference between a healthy marriage and an unhealthy one. You think to yourself, I would know if I was looking at an abused woman. And if you're her, and you've seen movies like Sleeping with the Enemy, or The Invisible Man, or Dirty John, the Betty Broderick story, and you think that poor woman, I would do this, or I would do that. But you never imagine that you're actually talking about yourself. You've got to wake up and realize that when you look around your church on Sunday morning, or your small group, or whatever you call your gatherings or meetings, you're not seeing the truth of what you think you see. There are hypocrites that you cannot see. Matthew 15:7-9. There are unsaved people that pretend to be saved. They are intentionally disguising themselves. 2 Corinthians 11:14. There are false brothers. 2 Corinthians 11:26. There's people lying to deliberately deceive. It's their purpose for being there. Galatians 2:4. There are those who look like believers, but are there to prey on women who are weak and broken. 2 Timothy 3:5. Satan has strategically positioned his followers within the congregations and gatherings of true believers. Matthew 13:25. There are wolves that have sneaked in, looking like the sheep in order to prey on the weak. Jude 4. I'm telling you, you can't see it from the outside. I was living right inside the marriage and I couldn't even tell. I knew something was up, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. That tells you the level of my brokenheartedness and his level of sociopathy. I just thought, like every other woman that's unhealed and living in a marriage with a dangerous man, my marriage was just highly, highly conflicted. That's just the luck of the draw. You're so focused on all the conflict, and that's the point. You've got no capacity left to even consider the truth. He's not a good guy that just happens to make lots and lots of bad, hurtful choices when it comes to you. He's evil. I know I say don't look for red flags. Red flags sometimes help, but they only are indicators of where someone needs to heal. And that is for men that are healthy. They're just unhealed or immature. So observing red flags only help you if you're not married to a wolf. Predators are evilly smart. They want you looking for red flags because he knows you're broken enough to not be able to see them. That's why I always encourage you to try and see in patterns or clusters. It's not that there's never anger or impatience or frustration in an argument. We're human, right? A healthy marriage is going to have all of those supposed red flags, especially if you've been emasculating the man. The difference is that with a dangerous man, 1, The element of anger, impatience, and frustration and meanness are not only always present in any and every conflict. It doesn't just sometimes go off the rails. And two, it's every time there's any difference of opinion, disagreement, or any time a change or something different is requested of him, no matter how small the request or the difference of opinion is, it escalates into a high-level confrontation. And the final element of this kind of cluster is that any and every argument can only be diffused by you. You are the one in this couple that has to initiate the reconciliation process and to assume the responsibility for starting the fight in the first place. It always tracks back to you, even when on the surface it doesn't appear to be tracking back to you.